Cloud9 is the greatest North American team to ever be born. They have gone to every single Worlds they could. They have gone to every single LCS finals they could. And their first split, their rookie split of the LCS, they went 25-3. That's unheard of. Unheard of. I thought that, honestly, when we sent them to Worlds in Season 3, that every team at Worlds was a toss-up between whether Cloud9 would win or the other team would win. And actually, in most games, Cloud9 had the advantage of winning, with the exception, of course, of SK Telecom. SKT, they were obviously going to lose to SKT. But everybody else, I thought it was 50-50, and Cloud9 had the edge if it wasn't 50-50. And I know that sounds ludicrous, but because, they went out in the first round to Fnatic, which I thought they would just 2-0 stomp. But if you just look at their past record, they had destroyed NA, and, maybe NA was much weaker at the time. They probably were weaker they were weaker at the time compared to the other regions. But they stomped NA, and I thought they were actually at a real shot of going very far in Worlds. Way farther than what they did. But, that's kind of like, well, everybody's going to say that now looking back. And, well, not everybody's going to say that, but more like, it's kind of like dumb of me to say that because, of course I could say that now, and it kind of sounds weird, but that's whatever. So, they come into their first LCS split. They go 25-3. This is Season 3. This is a summer split. Nobody's heard of Cloud9, really. They were known as Quantic. This is a weird team. And they come into their first split, and they go 25-3. They blitz the LCS. Nobody expected Cloud9 to go this insane. Everybody thought it was going to be CLG. It was going to be TSM. Maybe even Dignitas. These were the teams that were going to rise up and really take the spot. No. Instead, this rookie team comes out, blitzes the LCS, and completely destroys everybody. They have this completely revolutionary style of play where they're doing these crazy rotations. Their jungler is just farming up a storm, not really ganking as much. And the only team that could kind of go head-to-head with Cloud9 would be, at the time, Vulcan. And Vulcan has a shit lineup, by the way. With the exception of, ManCloud at the time was a god. The best mid laner in NA. So they didn't have a shit lineup. They had a shit AD carry. Sorry, Zuna. He was absolute crap. But everybody else on the team was pretty good. Xmithie was really good at the time. Very, very good. People were, they called him Dandy Light, but Xmithie was incredible. His mechanics were insane. Zuna was complete garbage. Nobody thought Zuna was that great. Bloodwater, I think, is one of the most underrated supports of all time. I thought Bloodwater was a god. He had great vision control. He had great laning. He had great presence. His team fighting was great. Bloodwater, in my opinion, is one of the best supports ever to come through NA. It's sad that he just got up and left the scene entirely. And then their top laner, Benny, who was consistent, he was never doing the flashy plays, but he was never dying either. So Benny was important to Vulcan. They needed that consistency in the top lane, kind of like how Dyrus is to TSM. Well, old Dyrus was to TSM. That's how Benny was to Vulcan. So, anyway, they can only be rivaled by Vulcan. So then next at the Season 4 Spring Split, they go 24-4, which is insane, unheard of. 25-3 and the 24-4 in 2 splits, nuts. Absolutely nuts. At this time, Vulcan had just shit the bed and completely are terrible now. Nobody knows what happened, but the team just became awful overnight, it seemed like. All of a sudden, their star player, ManCloud, just started choking for no reason and just became terrible. A lot of his champions were nerfed. But what? That kind of, underperformance is just so incredible, in my opinion. And then the Season 4 Summer Split, they go 18-10. So obviously there's a dip between the Spring Split and the Summer Split. Teams get better. TSM, I think, is that the time TSM brings in Bjergsen, or was that? I think that was actually before the Spring Split before. But anyway, so Cloud9. They're still one of the top teams, but other team they single-handedly brought up the LCS, other teams are now copying what they do and are becoming not as good as them at it, but they're becoming pretty good at what they do, and they're able to rival Cloud9. So then, this is the time where TSM actually beats them for the LCS title, but they go to Worlds. This is Season 4 Worlds is actually very important in Cloud9's career, because I actually thought Cloud9 performed the best of any NA team there. Any NA team we sent to Worlds, I thought Cloud9 was the best. So TSM, and a lot of people are going to look at it and say, well, TSM took a game off of Samsung White, which is true. TSM did take a game off of Samsung White, which is actually pretty big. But I thought every other game with Samsung White was not even close with TSM. It wasn't even a debate who was going to win. There was never like a moment of like, well, TSM could do this and this and this and come back, or it wasn't even like that. It was like TSM was constantly playing by a deficit every single game from the moment the game started, and except for that game 3 where they won. Now, with Cloud9 and Samsung Blue, which was considered the second best team there, the second favorite to win, Samsung Blue in Cloud9's games were incredibly close. Some of them were. Like, and not even just the game Cloud9 won, but the game after, it was they were destroying their Nexus turrets when Samsung Blue respawned and killed them. It was insanely close. There was this crazy Zed split push strategy that they employed, where Hai was just hiding and then running back out to the lane, killing the minions, pressuring their inhibitor, and the rest of Cloud9 would go to Baron or whatever, or would pressure bot or whatever, Dragon. It was this insane, Hai was hiding and running back and forth, and it was nobody had ever kind of seen that. It was this insane level of shot calling that obviously Hai and only Hai possesses. And this in the moment shot calling where he's oh, I could do this and go back and forth, blah 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 blah. He's able to make these incredible plays with basically off the top of his head. And it was just so much fun to watch. It was so much fun to watch a Cloud9 rival this Korean gods, these Korean, these guys who won OGN. They were just the best Koreans, potentially. Obviously not compared to Samsung White, but, I mean, it was, nobody knew if Samsung Blue was going to beat Samsung White. I mean, yeah, Samsung White looked a lot better, but, Blue had a history at the time of beating Samsung White in finals or blah blah blah. They had a history of beating them when they played against each other. So there was a real possibility that Samsung Blue could have won the whole thing. But Cloud9 actually kind of gave Samsung Blue a run for their money, and they actually looked good doing it. And then so they get eliminated from Worlds. Samsung White goes on to win the whole thing, and then we have the Season 5 Spring Split. They go 13-6. They do pretty good. Now, this is the time where Hai's not as great in the mid lane starts to show. His lack of mechanical skill starts to show with him in the mid lane. He's getting solo killed more than he should be. His CS numbers are lower than they should be, and his damage output's pretty low for what a mid laner should be outputting. But where in those ability areas he lacked, he was this insane shot caller still. And he would, and you're listening, I was listening to, just Hai in his stream with his buddies, he's doing these insane micro shot calls. And he's we can re-engage here, my cooldowns are up, your cooldowns are up, and their cooldowns are down. We could do this, we can re-engage, we could circle around, we could flank them here, we could go through the red buff jungle, and then, whatever. We can take this tower, then rotate, then take dragon, and then rotate down bot, and then won't even know what happened. We're going to blitz them, and we're going to have 2 towers, we're going to have a dragon, and they're not even going to know what happened. And we might even pick up a kill along the way. His insane shot calling, and his micro shot calling too, even in team fights. And now we see why Cloud9 is was such a great team fighting team, is because Hai would call out who they're gonna target, what their cooldowns were, and what your cooldowns were to kill that target, and what his cooldowns were. It's he somehow knew everybody's information and was able to make calls off of it. And then he even looked at a bigger picture and made calls off of that. However, his mechanical prowess is definitely not good enough for the mid lane. For a mid laner, oftentimes the mid laner is the best player on the team, especially for international teams, which Cloud9 should be. And Hai is not gonna be able to go toe to toe with someone like Bjergsen. It showed he was getting solo killed, and Bjergsen's the best player in the West, best mid laner in the West. So it's like if Hai can obviously not go toe to toe with the best mid lane in the West, there's no way he can go. There's no way he could fight the best Korean mid laner, who would be obviously Faker. And so if Cloud9 can't beat Bjergsen, there's no way he could ever beat a Faker, which is obvious. And in the mid lane, you kind of need somebody who's able to hard carry. So Cloud9 makes this decision. They get rid of Hai, and they pick up Incarnation, this solo queue god. Incarnation was number 1 in the European ladder. He actually, if you watch his videos, his highlight videos, he looks insane. He does these insane Zed plays, these insane LeBlanc plays. He looks like a god. He always dumpsters everybody in lane. Nobody even stands a chance against him. And it's incredible how amazing Incarnation looks in solo queue. Incarnation had the potential to be in the LCS, but apparently he was incredibly toxic. He DDoSed people, so Riot gave him the permaban hammer until they lifted it. Cloud9 picks him up, and it looks like a good pickup for Cloud9. I was with the majority people who did not value Hai shot calling as much as his lack of mechanical prowess. I thought that Hai shot calling did not hold enough value compared to his lack of mechanics. Like, his shot calling wasn't so good that that it overshadowed his lack of mechanics. I thought that, well, he's just getting dumpstered in lane all the time. We need to, like, Cloud9 should really get someone new in there. But obviously, looking at how terrible Cloud9's been doing, you need those apparently Hai shot calling was so important to the team that without him they just flounder and they don't know what to do, which is incredible to me. It's just I just can't believe it, but apparently Hai was that important to the team. So they bring in Incarnation. They beat TSM even after looking incredibly shaky, but I expected that. The first 3 weeks they would look shaky because they just brought in this new mid laner. Meteos is trying to develop his shot calling skills. Of course, they're going to look shaky their first few weeks in the LCS. They just had a big roster change. They got rid of their main shot caller and their main mid laner. Huge position, incredibly important for the team. So they swap him out. Incarnation, they win against TSM, and then they go on this huge losing streak. Huge. They only pick up another one against TDK and Team 8. And everybody else they're losing to. Everybody. Even teams even CLG, who they used to dumpster. Like, CLG has always had a problem beating top teams. But especially against Cloud9, it seemed like they would always lose. And CLG beats Cloud9. So this is actually hugely important. Because you have to ask yourself, well, what happened? I was with the majority of people. Like, my mind was blown because I'm like, wow, Hai shot calling was so important to this team that literally without it, they have no idea what to do. It just seems incredible to me. Like, it's so incredible. I still think Meteos is the best jungler in North America. Who's even his competition at the point? Rush? Move? I don't think Santorin is Meteos level, and I don't think I think maybe Rush. Rush might be his only competition. Move is getting there. I want to see him for another split to see how Move does, but Meteos is the best North American jungler. I think by a wide margin. And it just seemed like if their star jungler doesn't know what to do in these scenarios, and Sneaky is considered one of the best AD carries, and Incarnation, you have two of the best players in North America, and they have no idea what to do. It just didn't seem applicable. But apparently, without Hai shot calling, they have no idea what to do. As Sneaky said, they're chickens with their heads cut off. They have no idea what to do in the mid game or the early game or even the late game. They just don't know. So then, once again, another roster change happens just recently. Meteos, apparently, something happened. Meteos quit the starting lineup of Cloud9, and they bring in Hai as their jungler. And then Cloud9 looks good again. They look way better than they did with Meteos, which I consider the best jungler in North America. They look much better. Cloud9 all suddenly picks up a crucial win. Oh, no. Oh, sorry. Gosh, what am I saying? Cloud9 doesn't win. They were up 6k gold or something ridiculous, and then they throw the game, which is incredibly... They throw a game off of a dumb Baron play. I remember now. But Cloud9, for those first 20 minutes, or whatever that Baron play happened, looked really good again. Their shot calling was good. Their plays were good. They looked as a team like they were coordinating really well. So apparently Hai was of that much importance. And then he made one stupid Baron call and they lost. But up until that point, they were destroying Team Liquid. They were really beating Team Liquid. And Incarnation looked good on Twisted Fate, and everybody looked good again. Even, shitty Balls. Okay. I don't think Balls is of the caliber of LCS anymore, and I don't think Lemonation is either. In what Cloud9 should have done, realistically, is get rid of Balls and Lemonation, keep Meteos, Sneaky, and Incarnation, and then pick up a confident shot caller in one of those two positions, in either top lane or support. You find someone and you pick them up as a confident shot caller. You get rid of Balls entirely. You move Lemonation as a more coaching figure, because he's older now. He's like 26, so he kind of has this maturity, this kind of gravitas that the other players don't have. You put Lemonation as a more coaching figure, or maybe an analyst, a pickman analyst, which was what Lemonation really specialized in and what he really brought to the team in their old splits. It's his famous Lemonation's notebook. Like, he's a great pickman. He would be a great pickman coach. And then you go, and then you try again. And you find someone who's a shot caller in either support or top lane. And then we see how Cloud9 does, again, when they have a confident shot caller. Now, maybe Hai could play top lane or support. I don't think putting Hai in the jungle and getting rid of Meteos is the right answer by any idea, because I still think Meteos is obviously the best jungler. So I want to keep my star jungler in my starting lineup. But Hai and Balls, could Hai play top lane? I don't know. Maybe. He seems to be picking up jungle pretty well. He was doing pretty well when he was playing Rek'Sai, so I imagine he's very flexible. Maybe he could pick up the top lane. He could probably pick up support too if he really needed to, but I don't really think Hai's obviously Hai was such a great shot caller for this team, which was what they need so desperately. So, maybe if you could put Hai in the top or support, I don't know if that would work though. I would think you would rather, in my opinion, you should just rather pick up someone who's confident in either is a confident shot caller that already plays support or top. I think that would be a much better pickup for Cloud9. But obviously, we don't know how that team works. Maybe Meteos is only good with high shot calling, which I don't think is true. And I think I am correct with that. I think high shot calling, it could be anybody. You could put anybody there. And as long as they have a decisive voice for Meteos to follow and listen to, that's all he needs. Because apparently he can't be that decisive voice, which is fine. Time and time again, if we would just look at CLG and Chalister, they tried to make him their shot caller. I don't think you could turn somebody who isn't a shot caller into a shot caller. I think shot calling is this kind of born innate skill that you need in order to be good at it. But obviously, Cloud9, only 3 of their lanes, I think, now even 2, with just Sneaky and Incarnation, are world class. If you put Meteos back in, he's world class. You have to get the crap out of there. You have to cut the fat, which is Balls and Lemonation, which I think that would be a huge step forward. I think you just completely get rid of Balls. I don't think he's up to par. He's one of the lowest ranking top laners in North America right now. He's not the old Balls that we remember where he would carry and do these insane games. So, if Balls is really only good on Rumbles nowadays, and even his Rumble game, he showed some weakness. Like, if you ban away Rumble, Balls does not look great on other champions. Maybe Maokai, but Maokai's a pretty straightforward champion to play. Maokai is, pretty straightforward. I'll keep that. And Balls looks shaky on everybody else. I don't think Balls could ever play really a carry style like top lane other than Rumble. Like I don't see Balls playing Riven very well. I don't see Balls playing Irelia very well. I think he's more of a point and click kind of. He needs point and click kind of champions, which is kind of why I don't think Balls is world class anymore. He's obviously not world class. Lemonation's been this middle of the pack support lane. I don't know. Okay, I mean, realistically, what does Lemon bring to the team? Better pick and ban. He's pretty good. His mechanics aren't the greatest, but he's pretty decent at everything. His vision control's okay. He does a lot of good things. Well, he just does everything pretty mediocrely. But, you know, he brings this kind of seniority to Cloud9, which is, I believe, those players need. But as long as you keep Lemonation in that bot lane, I don't see Cloud9 ever having a kill lane. I really don't see, like, Cloud9 ever being able to kill anybody. But, you know, who knows? Maybe if you take out Lemonation, because Sneaky is a god AD carry, he's, you know, he proved himself. Even when Cloud9's slump is happening, he's still putting up these pretty good figures, these pretty good numbers. He does an insane amount of the damage his team's damage. It's just, if you got Lemonation out of there and put him with a more aggressive support, like a Yellow Star figure, I mean, that would be a scary bot lane for NA to deal with. But anyway, that's my summary of Cloud9. How do they fix it? I don't know. I think the best scenario would be cut Balls, cut Lemon, put Lemon as a coaching position, pick up 2 new players entirely, don't bring back High, and put Meteos back in the jungle. One of those 2 players is a shot caller, a decisive shot caller, who has the balls to just say, we're doing this and we're doing this now, like High did. You get Meteos looking back to his old form, and that would be, honestly, what I think would be best for Cloud9. My name is Sean Whitmore. Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for listening.